Madden 23 has added field sense. Well, how about some damn common sense? Jamarr Chase, not a top 10 receiver? Yeah, and these video games were made by fashion designer Steve Madden, not NFL legend John Madden. What did Madden 23 get wrong with its wide receiver rankings? Every year in August, Madden releases a new, shittier version of the old Madden. One of the ways they like to market their yearly product is by releasing their new player ratings. It's a good source of advertising, discussion, and controversy that's ultimately meant to sell their game. And I think it works. So today, I'm gonna take the bait, and I'm gonna take it hard. We're going to talk about the Madden wide receiver ratings, specifically what they got wrong, and at the end of the episode, I'll reveal my top 10 wide receiver rankings, which is 100% correct. Tomorrow morning on GPS, Tom Grossi and I will rank all of the receivers, or something like that, so make sure to check out Tom's top 10 receivers video as well. For this episode, we'll be referring to the top 10 overall wide receiver ratings, none of the subsets like top 10 wide receivers in traffic. They have Michael Thomas at number 4 in that category. Motherfucker has spent more time in actual traffic than catching any passes in traffic over the last 2 seasons. So I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's do it. That's good sports. Beginning at the very top is my first point of contention. Davante Adams received a 99 overall, 1 point ahead of reigning Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp. Last year's best receiver who played his best football on the biggest stage isn't as good as Davante Adams? Outside of Calvin Johnson in 2012 and Jerry Rice in 1987, Cooper Kupp had the best season we've ever seen from a wide receiver. Just to recap, Kupp finished the year with 145 catches, 1,947 yards, and 16 touchdowns. All of those led the league, which means he won the Triple Crown for receiving. Oh yeah, and he scored 6 fucking touchdowns in the playoffs, including 2 in the Super Bowl, one of which was the game winner. 89 of his receptions were for first downs. That was most in the league, as was his yak at 846. Adams was 4th for receivers in yards after catch. Now, Davante Adams is a great wide receiver. He's also never had a season like Cooper Kupp had in 2021. Adams is a technician, a great route runner, incredibly intelligent, and pulls in over 70% of his targets. He's also had the best quarterback in football throwing him the ball until he decided he wanted to downgrade this season and become a Raider. His awareness rating should be dropped 10 points for that dumb decision alone. Now, you can make the case that Adams had a tougher job given he was the only serious threat in the receiving game for the Packers, but that's not enough to make him the sole 99 receiver. I like Adams, but Kupp is better right now, and this is not a career rating, this is a rating going into 2022. At the very least, make them both 99s. And something I'm sure that will never get a rating of 99, my coffee company, BenchwarmerBrew.com. We launched new mugs last week. I've got great coffee. 5 Points and Urinating Tree just ran discounts for their coffee, and I gave away a mug in the community tab. Adam Keeler. Actually, it's Alan. I meant Alan. If Alan doesn't get back to me, I'll select another winner. Check your message. I need you to DM me at the Benchwarmer Brew Twitter account, at Benchwarmer Brew, to get your info so I can send you your mug and your coffee. Also, I have Big Dick Patreon shoutouts for new patrons: Charlie, Coda, and Keegan, Big Dick Caton. Patreon.com/ThatsGoodSports. Next week, we'll be doing our Zoom hangout for Patreon and YouTube members, so keep an eye out for that info. Then we have DeAndre Hopkins at a 96 overall. Apparently, D-Hop, who's 30 years old, coming off an injury and facing a suspension, is 3 points ahead of Justin Jefferson, who's put up over 3,000 yards in his first 2 NFL seasons. Again, I love D-Hop, but this is Madden 23, not Madden 19. By the time he returns from his suspension, all of his PEDs will have worn off, so I'm not optimistic. Keenan Allen is a 91. I don't even think Keenan Allen is the best receiver on his own team. That's Mike Williams. Allen's 91 is multiple points higher than players like A.J. Brown, who had an 87, and Deebo Samuel, who somehow only an 89. That's insane to me. Deebo, 1,400 yards receiving last year, and that's when he wasn't averaging over 6 yards per carry out of the backfield. This is so disrespectful that Deebo should pull a Bill Belichick and ask to be removed from the game altogether. Yeah, if you don't know, Bill Belichick hasn't been in Madden since the mid-2000s. So now he's been replaced by a generic coach, Chad Masters. Barry Bonds did the same thing in MVP Baseball 2005, and they replaced him with a white guy named John Dowd, who also hits bombs, did steroids, and has a very small set of testicles. Pardon my digression, though. The dumbest ranking may very well be Amari Cooper sitting at number 10. Like DeAndre Hopkins, it feels like he's getting too much credit for past work. 2019 was his best season in the NFL, and after missing 2 games in 2021, his production dropped quite a bit in the Cowboys offense. His receptions were down to 68, 24 fewer than in 2021, and he's the only receiver in this top 10 to not crack 1,000 yards. Now, I understand that Madden should not weigh which QB is throwing the wide receiver the football for their rankings, but Cooper is not going to even look like a top 20 wideout with Jacoby Brissett slinging the rock. Also, I think his strength rating should be 0, based on that lowly 5th rounder he generated for the Cowboys in his trade to Cleveland. A rating I agree with, and he's not in the top 10, but Calvin Ridley still has an overall rating of 86. Now that's actually spot on since the NFL 86'd him from playing this season. Also, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, but why does Terry McLaurin get so much credit for being a very good receiver while also being handicapped by shitty QB play, but DJ Moore doesn't? It's great McLaurin is in the top 10, he deserves that for re-signing with Washington alone, but I feel like there's this mystique around Terry that DJ and possibly Darnell Mooney moving forward doesn't get. DJ Moore has been putting up similar numbers, also with the revolving door of shitty QBs. Each guy had 2 seasons with head coach Ron Rivera on teams that were flat out bad. Even though he entered the NFL earlier, Moore is a year younger than Scary Terry at this point. Like, their production is almost identical, and I think really DJ just needs a cool nickname like Scary Terry to get the recognition he deserves. DJ does more with less. No, that sounds like a really shitty DJ who only gets wedding gigs at half the price of other DJs. Full House and Roseanne featured DJ Connor and DJ Tanner, 2 shows I loved in the 90s. We could just call him DJ 90, which may help him get a 90 rating. If that doesn't work, let's just go with DJ Bone Crusher. You can't ignore that. And then, not top 10, but Michael Thomas is sitting there at 11. 11 with a 90? He hasn't played a full season since 2019. His elective surgery decision-making should be -10. We haven't seen him produce without Drew Brees, and by comparison, in terms of his effectiveness with the ball in his hands, Cooper Kupp had 4 fewer receptions in 2021 than Thomas had in his record-setting 2019 season. 145 to Thomas's 149, and Kupp managed 7 more touchdowns and 222 more yards. So yeah, Thomas shouldn't even be in the top 20 at this point. But the unequivocal bastardization of these rankings is the absence of Jamarr Chase. Not just in the top 10, but they have him sitting at 20. I'm sorry, but Michael Thomas, Tyler Lockett, Chris Godwin, DK Metcalf, Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, AJ Brown, and Brandon Cooks are not better than Chase. Jamarr Chase, as a rookie, which apparently Madden punishes you for, was 4th in yards at 1,455, which was more than Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. Third in touchdowns, third in yak with 651. Jamarr Chase was the best rookie receiver we've seen since Randy Moss, and that guy turned out to be pretty good too. Hell, Justin Jefferson also great as a rookie. I'd also like to say CeeDee Lamb and Deontay Johnson with ratings of 85, probably too low. You could argue Hunter Renfrow should surpass Adam Thielen as the second best white receiver. Ultimately, looking at these ratings, I've noticed something. There are actually just a lot of really good wide receivers in this league, and that feels like a good thing for the NFL. And I'll admit some of this bitching is just splitting hairs. I know that. But Amari Cooper in the top 10, are you kidding me, Madden? John Madden is going to start haunting the halls of EA, drawing little yellow lines on your nerd faces until you get that shit fixed. Now, we should also note that these ratings change over the course of the season, and I think some players that have the biggest potential to take a huge jump are Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Allen Robinson, Gabe Davis, and the two Packers rookies, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. I mean, somebody's got to catch some footballs from Aaron Rodgers, right? The biggest mystery to me, though, is how DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett will fare without Russell Wilson. Both were in the top 15, and rightfully so, but I can't imagine their production stays that high with Drew Lock or Geno Smith. So again, here are the Madden top 10 wide receiver rankings. And as promised, here are my final top 10 wide receiver rankings for 2022. Number 10, Scary Terry. Number 9, DJ Bone Crusher. Number 8, Mike Evans. Number 7, Jamarr Chase. Number 6, Deebo Samuel. Number 5, Stephon Diggs. Number 4, Tyreek Hill. Number 3, Justin Jefferson. Number 2, Davante Adams. And number 1, yes, the best receiver, Cooper Kupp, who was the best receiver last year and who should be great again this year. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Again, BenchwarmerBrew.com. Check out our new mugs. And look, we're getting close to 300,000 subscribers here. If all of you could just convince two of your friends to subscribe who have yet to subscribe, that'll jump me up to like 900,000. Imagine what I could accomplish.